Welcome to the Borderlands Trail and Ultra Running Podcast. Today is Thursday, and we are off to the races. We have been talking about Western States for a long time, and here we are really close to it, and we're going to bring you, I think, still some of the most interesting and entertaining stuff related to Western States in these few days leading up to it. I mean, there's a ton coming, and I'm glad that you're here. Borderlands. Okay, Bad Runners Take. There's a lot here. I mean, we're doing elite athlete interviews this week. We've got Dan Green, Ryan Montgomery, Hans Troyer, Matt Daniels, who's not running, but I thought it'd be cool, like when you watch the national championship and it's that year that Alabama didn't get in, but you still got coach to come sit in during the national championship while it was, Georgia versus Clemson or something like that. You still got the insight. So we got Matt Daniels coming to talk to us. We're doing 10 minutes with these guys. And we've got more coming. We've got more being scheduled. So we're going to chat a little bit about those today. We got a Hyperlite Hotline coming at you, Hyperlite Liquid Performance Hotline. We're pumped on that. The Hans Troyer documentary, I'm here for it, and I'm pumped on it. We're going to talk the 200 milers, the specialists who are running Western States. We're talking Paris Fashion Week for a minute here to get this on your radar. I mean, there's just so much, and we're just going to go for it. Here we go.
It's a bad runner's take. It's a bad runner's take. It's a bad runner's take. He's the Kipchoge of running back.
Brian, it's here. Statesmas, as they call it, and I've never really liked that, has been here for us for like 4 months. But Here we are upon it for the general public. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm stoked. Father's Day weekend, It's always nice to get lavished and celebrated like you're a mom for a day. So that's great. And
man. Coming off of a great weekend, by the time this airs, I had a podcast come out with Lydia Oldham, who's just awesome. Come run with me. She just ran across Portugal. Inky Steve talking about the Norda 001 compared to the Air Max 1, just in terms of like iconic, meaningful shoes. But now we're done with stuff that's not related to Western States or Paris Fashion Week. And there's just so many things going on. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, man. I mean, we can just, these athlete interviews.
Yeah.
I think that's super exciting.
Yeah. I mean, this is fun. You and I were chatting the other day, like, because of what we're doing with Bad Runners Take and with the Borderlands podcast and with Wolfie's World, like it's just requiring more time where you and I are talking, because we also have the running league coming up. Outrider got awesome response when we announced that. So you and I are talking a lot more these days, not on these microphones, because there's just a lot of moving parts coming together. And, so we're working through these athlete interviews, thinking through, what's our version of talking to Dan Green, Ryan Montgomery, Matt Daniels, Hans Troyer. We're talking to this guy, Chris Severson, who is targeting 24 hours. I've got some people who are targeting 30 hours that we're going to have on. But we're doing 10 minutes with them because they're going to do their long form stuff. And they're going to get the questions, that you all want to hear. And you're going to get it from a few different places out there. We hope to bring a different angle. How would you characterize, how do we interview Dan Green? How do we interview Ryan Montgomery? Like, what's our version of the pre-race 10-minute interview?
Yeah, man. I think it's just try and get him to laugh at some point in the interview, but, try and also maybe ask him some questions that the 95 can benefit from.
Yeah.
Just come from it from a unique angle. I think, you and I talked offline, and we kind of clearly made the 5 bullet points of what we don't want it to be. And so now we're just going to go in and refine the questions we think will get the content, get maybe some of the takes and things that are unique, just like the debates, right? The debates kind of brought, some unique topics and answers and discovery around Western States. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do that as well in a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think our version of this has got to be an element of like human interest, that because you're going to hear about strategy, you're going to hear about how they think about things as a runner. I'm going to listen to those interviews because I'm pumped. I want to hear what Hans has been, I want to hear the single track angle on Hans and the free trail angle on Hans. That's going to be awesome. That's just not going to be ours. But you're right. I would love to see him laugh, like in the documentary, which we'll get to here in a bit. I want to get some human side of things and some angles within their running and their mindset that we're not getting anywhere else. And so we've been working through questions, thinking through questions, and then man, we've got them for 10 minutes. And so we're going to like, jam pack some awesome stuff into those 10 minutes with each of them.
Yeah, man. If I dream big, I mean, I'd love to hear them, give an opinion, give a take, give some sort of like statement of prize money, the state of where we're at in 2025 on prize money. What do they think about David Roach, right? I mean, I think he's a figure that deserves maybe a 2-minute answer on that. Just the kind of things that you would see on, ESPN, Fox Sports, right? Like, these guys, when, they get questioned, or come onto these shows, not everything's about like, hey, how do you dribble the ball? What size shoe do you wear? Right. Like, I mean, they do ask some pretty, spicy questions at time, or if you get into like MMA and UFC, like, yeah, I mean, they lean into rivalries and storylines, and we benefit as a fan. So that's our job to maybe ask questions that they otherwise wouldn't answer. So we'll give them preparation. If it's going to be anything too hot, we're not going to put them on the hot seat and, lose their participation, anytime moving forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's, just to see, like, not going to say that again. What questions are we not going to ask? Shoe size.
Yeah. Like shoe size, or, what shoe are you going to be wearing? Things like that. Right.
Yeah. Do you think that David Roach is the one, like, say, for example, we're talking to Hans or whoever, and you think about like NASCAR or some sort of other like individual sport, not head to head, but like group participating, like you're always aware of where somebody is. I think of one of the coolest races in the last year to me was the women's marathon at the Olympics, when the Dutch woman was in fourth. I'm blanking on her name. And all of a sudden there at the very end, she makes a push and gets into first place. You're always aware of where that person is. That's the one, you're like, hey, I'm racing all these other people, but there's that one person, just good to know where they are. You think David Roach is that person for most people in this race?
I don't. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think at this race, they're just kind of wanting to know where M1 is at that particular stage in the race. But I don't think he is going to capture that like
he's not that yet.
A gym, right? Killian probably is. If he gets off the front, then people will be more concerned about not being able to reel him in late. But no, you made a good one, right? Like I want to ask like Hans or David, like, shake and bake. Which one are you? You know what I mean? Because they're kind of
they are.
Are you guys going to come out of this race and then have like a dramatic, breakup? We're going to have the Magic Man, You're going to take over his family.
what were their names? Magic Man and not Houdini.
I can't remember. No, I think Magic Man was Magic Man was after I think they split up. They were Shake and Bake when they were together.
That's right. He's
together.
Like, oh, that's a stupid nickname, and then he's like, oh, that's an awesome nickname.
See, those are the good ones. People want to know. Shake and Bake, baby.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. Probably they would be aware of Killian, but man, I think just and to be honest, I don't want to act like I've got it all dialed. I don't know exactly how to have the conversation with these guys. I just know that we got to have it our way. And these guys that have said yes to us at this point, we've reached out to some women as well, but right now the guys are the ones who have said yes. Pumped to be able to talk to them. And I'm gonna my primary goal is to make sure I don't come off as just like crazy fan kid. That I really actually get some good questions in, and then we'll start to release all those on Monday. Like wide swath. We'll be releasing a ton of stuff, and we've got then going into that week, we've got our big pre-race episode that will air the following Friday as well. That will be on the day before Western States, where we're going to go through, and then we'll make our picks, and we'll start, we'll draw some lines in the sand and either look smart or stupid from doing that. So the athletes interview, that's what's gonna lead us up into it. And so Hans, I can't go without talking about this documentary, because I by and large don't like. I just haven't had the appetite to watch documentaries in a long time. And so then we were talking to the guys at Hyperlite, and they were like, hey, this is a running documentary, but it's also not a running documentary. Like, it's not like so like running. It's very human interest, very personal. I'm like, I need that right now. Like, I just want to see that. And I watch it. And usually you watch the first 30 seconds of a YouTube video, at least I do. And I'm like, okay, I get where it's going. Like, I can see it. I think it'd be fun to see it play out, but I get it. I know the story that happened in the past. I watched it in real time. I don't need this other story to support it. So, I get it. I just 30 seconds and I got it. And then the first 30 seconds of the Hans Troyer one, I was like, oh, I don't got it. I don't know where this is going. And that to me is the best compliment I can pay to the guys who put that together. Do you have any takeaways from the documentary?
Yeah, no, I think it was just it, right? I mean, it was like that, Prefontaine story of this young 20-year-old something, living out in the Georgia woods in a trailer, chasing his dreams, living a reckless lifestyle, kind of, I guess, probably common, uncommon for that generation, right? I mean, he's pretty young. Like you think of him growing up more around the electronic, age.
Right.
And so to see that he was out, wakeboarding, doing kind of extreme, fun things on his motorcycle, bikes and everything. And yeah, you could just tell the guy's got super coordination, super athleticism. I think he probably would have been good at, any sport that he, would have taken on. So yeah, great to have him in running. And the documentary is great. I mean, I think, he's just this hybrid athlete, of character, basically, not of like hybrid and what you think, right? Not the toxic hybrid.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Zach Miller, vibe, but then performance of a Jim Walmsley. So yeah, he's fascinating. The documentary does good to unpack all those different, boxes that he checks.
I haven't seen anybody have fun like that though since maybe Jen Shelton. I'm trying to think of who, like, when you would see the camera on them, that they would be laughing,
Right?
And like taking themselves lightly enough. I mean, of course, Courtney. Obviously, she has fun. It's a different bucket to me. It's a different thing. It doesn't resonate the same way as the way that Jen Shelton used to and she was more of a partier and all that sort of stuff, but she just seemed to be having fun at what she was doing. And then when she wasn't, she stopped. That was my one worry from watching Hans. It's like, oh man, will he hang in there? I know he talked about 20 years from now, or David Roach or somebody was saying, 20 years from now, he's going to be, has, crazy accolades. He's having so much fun. Like when he was laughing about the bread in the documentary, if you haven't seen it, there's this moment where he's talking about this bread and he's just laughing. And it's absurd to say how refreshing it is just to see someone laughing like that. It felt like Gen X vibes, like eating moldy bread, like college age. Like it's what my life would have been like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like you said, before technology. There just seems to be some next level of contentment within Hans to just be who he is, and that there's no persona there. It just felt like, man, he's just having fun. And then his brother comes in and is like, I want to make sure he's crazy, but they also clearly are a tight family. There's just so many things that just felt like swimming upstream from culture's narratives right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If you haven't watched it, get out over to YouTube, watch it, drop a comment, let us know what you think. So
yeah, pumped on that. So, Hyperlite put that together. We've mentioned them a couple times, but
why are we talking about them so much?
Yeah, we've got this coming. Check this out. The Hyperlite Hotline's coming together. I threw that together. That's a version 1.0. We wanted to be a little bit more metal, but that was the loop I could find. The Hyperlite Hotline is coming soon. We're going to be initiating it through the course of states. It's not going to be ready for you to give questions necessarily when you hear this podcast for all the elite athletes. But we're going to be promoting that on Instagram prior to. And so we want questions for the elite athletes, but also we used to have the phone number that you could call, but only people in America could make that call. And now you can go to the link in our show notes and in the bio of Borderlands Instagram, and you can click on it and you can now leave us a voicemail. It caps you at 60 seconds. So the Hyperlite Hotline is about us being able to engage with you more and more. You were sending a ton, and the way that I was doing it was not very efficient. So now we have this new service that we're doing it with, thanks to Tommy Lewis, gave us a suggestion on what to use called Telby. And so now anywhere in the world, you can leave us a 60-second message. We'll be able to bring it onto the podcast. We want to have more interaction with you, and we're calling it the Hyperlite Hotline. Anything you'd add to that?
No, I love it. So, yeah, I mean, I think, hotlines, they're as good as the hosts are with, highlighting the voices from the audience, right? And so we're going to do better. We're going to make sure this is a reoccurring part of the, Bad Runners Take segment. The hope is to at least get, again, Wolfie's World to touch on, one or two of them.
Yeah.
And trust us. We've built it. Go leave the messages so we can reply back to it. And I just think, yeah, as people see that we are replying more and more, it's just going to get more momentum into it. And I think it's really going to be a fun, asset to bring to the show.
And there's another layer in here that we're still articulating, thinking exactly about how we're going to talk about it. But we're looking for, on Wolfie's World, you do such a great job of highlighting people in the community, calling people out in the community who are doing inspiring things or interesting things, or, any number of like, they could use some love right now. Show some love to these guys, or look at how cool this is. That we want to start once a month in partnership with Hyperlite, calling those cool things out, and then giving away, some Hyperlite and sending attention to those people. Look for that in July. How are you thinking about that right now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get to be the king, so I get to decide, what that's going to look like. But yeah, the intention of it is essentially to highlight people who are doing things, the community, like this last week was a good example, right? You had Tyson,
Yes,
who we talked about on Wolfie's World, out there running for a little girl who's really got a tough condition, and so that would have been a great example of what could have been, spotlighted for that week. It's not always going to be something like that, not always charitable. It could be somebody that's just, doing something that I find inspiring, or, find super cool. So yeah, it could be as simple as somebody just ripped a dope run and had a dope kit with it, right? Or something. It's just going to be, whatever's culturally cool and meaningful at the time.
Yeah, like as you kind of are quarterbacking that, sending our attention to certain places and then celebrating those people and then hooking them up with stuff, because that's one of the cool things we get to do.
Yeah, and that's why we are so stoked to join or to partner with Hyperlyte. If you haven't caught on already, they've come on board to partner and support Borderlands, and we couldn't be more stoked about it because the guys over there at Hyperlyte are the 95. You know what I mean? They're getting feet on ground, right? Like they are dusty. They're caked with sweat, right? Like they run. They're just that same story that we pull through here on Bad Runners Take and Wolfie's World of founders who have a passion and a direct connection to the thing that they're bringing to the community. And so, I love it. Yeah. They wanted to help, they were stoked on, giving back to the community. And when we told them, hey, let's do this on Wolfie's World, they were all about it.
Yeah. And I think it's fun. Like in this world of like what we're doing with media, I haven't had many sponsors on here. I've done some things like I've done with the races and all that sort of stuff, but this one's different. We wanted to find some way that was a little bit more interesting to bring a partnership in. And we do say, partnership. Like they're contributing, like they're supplying product to the people that Wolfie calls out. They're going to be promoting stuff on their end, and we're going to be working together with them and Emery and Jeremy, and just really pumped on it. And I don't know if there's too much more to say about it other than look out for the Hyperlite Hotline. I just think that we're just pumped because we want to be engaging with you all more. So that's like, to us, the primary vehicle by which we would interact with you, and Hyperlite's the one helping us pay for the technology to make it happen, and with our partnership and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And then just to be clear, you said so that we're basically going to start crowdsourcing on Instagram. So like, I guess on your stories, on mine, for questions around the Western States athlete interviews.
Try to get the athlete interviews, and then just because we're going to be on the mic a lot. I mean, we're doing the pre-show, then we're going to be every hour on the hour until F1 comes in of Western States. So that could be 16, 17 hours that we're on, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 15, depends on how much stuff there's to talk about, depends on if we have a guest. That's going to be on Instagram Live. And I just don't know. So sometimes we just want to hear calls. We want to hear what you guys are think. Like during the race, you'll be able to just pop in and drop us a note, and we'll be able to play it and talk and interact with you all in that way. Because Brian and I, especially Brian, are pretty insightful. And as we're watching this and watching it unfold and bringing you stuff that you won't be able to get anywhere else, but also you all are that as well. And so for you to bring your thoughts and let us kind of banter and work with those would be huge and awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Pumped. Okay. As we look at the field here, I think, so you've done an awesome job of breaking down the made men versus the associates. And at the end of this, we'll give another summary because that's going to be the main narrative that we're watching. And I think that's because it's so much fun. Your last Wolfie's World, as we listen to this now, 2 Wolfie's Worlds ago, you break that down in great detail. One that I just thought it'd be fun to chat about for a few minutes is another one that we're watching because we just watched what Dan Green did at Cocodonis. We're paying attention and this is where the 2025 running of the Western States. Cannot be denied, in my opinion, that we lose Walmsley, but we get Dan, and it's an interesting thing to not have Hayden and Jim, but we have Dan, and Dan's an interesting case because of the 3 200 milers, we've got Harry Sabertis, Dan Green, and String Bean. I mean, Dan running Cocodona 250, and I'm riffing off the top of my head. Apologies if I'm off here. 56, 58 hours, somewhere in that range. So that's the Cocodona 250, 257 miles. The winner of Tahoe this weekend was like 55 hours. 50 miles. I mean, isn't that crazy for perspective? 200 miles in 55 hours. Dan ran 250 in 57 hours. Dan is fast. He did Javelina in 12:58 and 12 hours and 58 minutes for Javelina 100. Then he goes and does that at Cocodona 250. Now we're in Wasatch. He's an M1 contender. He's a podium contender, but also I think of him as a 200-mile specialist.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We were talking offline, and I said, what we're about to witness is the equivalent of like Usain Bolt winning the 100 meters dash and then signing up for the 10K. And, people talking about him possibly getting a medal for that as well. Like the range in ultra to go from, and to do it in this order, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if it's the easier order or not. So, let us know. What do you think? Would it be easier to go out and rip Cocodona and then with 7 weeks recover for Western States, which you have to run faster? Or would it be better to, run a fast time, sub 15 at Western States and then 7 weeks later go do Cocodona? I think that would probably be the easier path to get the fast time at Western States done, recover, and just let that fitness, carry over to Cocodona 7 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. There's got to be. I just assume there has to be 7 weeks. That's tight because isn't that roughly? Yeah, I mean that's roughly. The American men had always had so much issues from Western States to UTMB. So if Jim went out and did a speedy Western States, by the time UTMB rolled around, that was at least not if not him. That's at least what all of us who were like out protecting him. Like, well, yeah, he just crushed Western States. Sure, that's why he's not going to do great at UTMB. So that's close. Dan's younger, and I don't know if he's fitter, but he's younger. And so 7 weeks, that's not a ton of time coming off 250 miles.
No.
I'm not going to factor that into like post race. Like I want Dan to go get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that even, maybe call it controversial that canyons is too close, that going out and ripping canyons and then running Western States is not ideal. And it's like, that's only 100K,
Right.
I get it. It's a little bit more of a tempoed effort for 100K versus, the 257. The effort was still probably very manageable, for him and the paces he's used to, but still, I mean, that's a big training shock.
What do you think about? So, I just think it's fun to think about these three guys, the Harry Sabertis and String Bean. String Bean's pulled off some speedy shorter distances than 200 milers, but he's also, crushed 200 milers. Same with Harry Sabertis. I don't know about any of Harry Sabertis's shorter than the, sub 200 stuff, but the three of them going at it.
I looked it up, when I did a little bit of research, I had left Harry off intentionally. Like, no shade to him, right? But I just don't think he has like the top end results that we see in the 100K, 100 mile efforts. Talented runner. Maybe it's just not been something he's focused on or had a day at the 100 mile distance. But yeah, I mean, String Bean went out and got his golden ticket at Black Canyon, which is a fast 100K. He ripped that thing in the low 7 hour range, and he's got a low 14 teens at Javelina. So, I mean, he's definitely got more speed than what you would accustom with the 200 mile specialist. So, yeah,
I mean, the Tillamook Burn last month, the 50 miler, got first place at sub 7 hours. Yeah. And like the Black Canyon 731 on that 100K. I mean, that just blows me away when these 200 plus milers, 250 milers are able to go get those times. I think it's a blast.
And he's a collegiate runner as well, I believe. I think his history is collegiate running. So,
okay. Yeah,
he has that pedigree in him as well.
So what about then Tara Dower, specialist, 200 plus mile specialist? I mean, she's not only that, I mean, she's like multi-day specialist. And then coming in, what's so funny is that 100 miles feels short when I think of Tara Dower.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just wild. I heard when I interviewed Mike Versteeg once, he said, I wouldn't consider 100-miler endurance, like anything that you're not out on multi-day. And it feels like Tara Dower really excels at these big multi-day things, but she could come in and absolutely crush Western States.
Yeah, I think she's a fun one to talk about when you're doing more of a co-ed conversation.
Yeah.
I think under the context of what's going on this year, like with Dan Green, like a bit of a wild card with where he's physically going to be able to come in at String Bean. We've talked about him, and she put up a 14:58 at Javelina, so she's not too far behind what String Bean did. So I mean, yeah, I think she also got her golden ticket at Black Canyon as well, so another fast 100K result. So I mean, we're talking about some pretty incredible men here, but I don't think she's not capable of being close and making it interesting on race day with these guys.
Well, combined with all of this Western States coverage, we are going to be covering, and it's going to make more sense in the moment. I get it. It didn't make sense to me last year when Brian was like, "Hey, Mike Kratzer, and be on the lookout for Norda, and hey, Soar's going to be there at Paris Fashion Week." Didn't make sense to me, and now I'm like a huge champion of it because it's a challenge to the conventional thinking that running is only expressed through the event, through the ultra event. Now, where I come from, like I have to have an ultra on my calendar or else, I don't run. But there's this whole world of people out there that don't need the event on their calendar to run hard. And I think that is what is represented at Paris Fashion Week. It is an incredible representation of purity in running, which I know sounds like a contradiction because it's also fashion connected to how you look, how you express yourself through your clothes. But to me, that's a more pure form of running because it's honestly running for the sake of running in that exact moment that you're running. I don't even know how to explain it. And I hope that we can show it off through the course of next week when it's here. But am I getting close?
Well, yeah. Like here, this just came to me, right? Like the way you're talking about it is crazy because like you drink coffee. Could you imagine somebody being like, it has to be a work day for me to drink coffee. If I don't have something difficult for that day, I don't understand why I need to drink coffee. But like you and I know, like there's nothing better than a cup of coffee in the midst of a busy day or in a beautiful morning sunrise. Like, why do you have to have some reason to drink coffee? It's coffee. It's beautiful. It tastes great. And it's a routine that you do. Well, why do you run? Well, because it's what I do. I don't have anything on my calendar right now. I just went and ran 2.5 hours in the hottest day of the year on Father's Day. It was a great excuse to sleep in and have somebody bring me breakfast in bed. But no, I'm a runner. It's Father's Day. I want to get up and run.
Okay, this is interesting. So are you addicted to running?
No.
It's not running. So the play on caffeine is the take, and I'm addicted, and I owned a coffee roasting company, and I took advantage of people who are addicted to this stuff. But the idea is that, yes, caffeine does get some stuff going, but also the way that you feel after a cup of coffee is how some people who aren't addicted to caffeine feel most of the time. I'm not talking about when your creativity sparks and fires. I'm just talking about withdrawal and satisfying that withdrawal from caffeine. Like, okay, help me figure it out. If it's not an addicted thing, then give me another illustration. Is it a coffee? Is it a cold glass of water? I mean, is it something that's just so satisfying?
Do you brush your teeth and shower
at the same time?
No. I mean, are those things that you do?
Yeah, I do those.
Right. And you're not addicted to doing it, right?
That's right.
Okay, but you know that it makes you a better version of yourself having done them.
Yeah. Not only that,
maybe,
in my world,
maybe sometimes you're tired and you just want to fall asleep, but you're like, I know I got to brush my teeth.
See, I mean, okay, I'm the epitome of the absent-minded professor. Like, it's why I've only had one haircut from Inky Steve, and I did it for content since 2010.
It was a damn good-looking haircut.
It was. It's funny. He'll reach out sometimes and be like, "Man, that haircut looked good. I saw it."
Stop hiding it underneath that Stetson.
Yeah, now it's just like overgrown and I'm balding. But I need to go see Inky again. Flights actually on Ryanair to go see him are like $35 round trip to Manchester.
That's cheaper than his haircut, probably.
Cheaper than a haircut. Well, it'd be cheaper than getting a haircut in Paris to go round trip with no checked bags to just go see Inky and come back. I'm thinking about it. I forgot I was going with that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, and now I'm tracking with you on that. Isn't it funny that it feels like this two opposing things? When people think about Paris Fashion Week, they think, oh, pretentious runner and clothes are expensive. But I think what it actually represents is what you're saying. Like, and yes, they're using their clothes to express that. And yes, it is expensive. And yes, they do care about things like silhouettes and how you look in them and all that. Like that matters. And that matters to some people, and that's okay. But it's crazy that it feels to me like more of a pure expression of running for the sake of running and not running just to run the event. No shade on either. It just feels like the fashion movement is about running for the sake of running.
Correct. Right. Yeah. And they don't put any sort of like qualifying distance barriers on it. And
That's
so,
right.
Again, we talk a lot about being in the trail and ultra space. And again, this is something that is unique to the United States, is that like it's ultra trail running. Like we don't even associate anything less than ultra distance with trail running.
Yeah.
And, in Europe and the rest of the world, it's trail running.
Yeah.
Like there's people who run trails for shorter distances than 31 miles. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, over there, they're not bound or limited by ultra distance. And so they can, I think that's why it's activating so heavily over there, is that running is resonating in urban spaces, resonating in the forest, in the woods, in the deserts, like the mountains. They just have a more cohesive running culture, period. And, the Paris Fashion Week, I think, highlights that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm pumped to do it. I Sam Losey, who's doing stuff with Borderlands, he's been scheduling all of the appointments, and I tell you, I don't need to feel cooler than I am. I don't know most of these brands. I've learned about them through the course of this. And I'm probably even going to mispronounce them now. On the other side of this, I'm going to say them with confidence, but Hermano Cori, coming out of Mexico City. I'm pretty pumped on this one. Something Purple. Pretty stoked on. We'll be so Merrill's going to be there, which I've had a relationship with them in the past. Stoked to see their stuff. Currently Running's not going to be there, but I've had some engagement with them because
Nash is great,
because they're great. And as you've said, like the stuff is great. So this is interesting. There's some brands that belong there that just aren't going to be there. They don't have to be there, but Currently Running feels to be like, firing on all cylinders. They fit in this crowd that's there, running for the sake of running and looking good while you do it. But they won't. You've been pretty stoked on them lately, huh?
No, man, their gear is phenomenal. So I've got like a Wolfie's World, take on what a piece of content review would look like. I don't think it's going to be anything traditional.
I wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah. I mean, I've really enjoyed running in them. The shorts are very familiar. I think when you look at the mesh, immediately people, who are tuned into kind of this running self-expression, know brand XX, that they, are affiliated with, right? Like when you see it, kind of who they're modeling the clothing line after. But I will say it's an evolved take on that XX brand. The waistband of the Currently Running is incredible. There's just little nuances that you can tell were done by people who run a lot. And
that's cool.
We're looking to upgrade basically the waistband, man. The waistband is just so accommodating in that pair of shorts. So we'll unpack it more, but I've been super stoked to be running in their first offering.
I love it. Okay. So Hermanos Kumori, again, I apologize
cool too, right?
for not getting it right. There's something that is CAYL, Una, Osprey, and Merrill, PMO. We're having coffee with Balmoral.
Yeah.
And then we have our own event that we're doing there, Race the Seine, which I'm excited about. We're doing it with Cadence Runners, one of the largest run clubs in Paris. Naked's going to be joining us for that. Ira Libre, they're on for all of this stuff with us, and I'm really pumped. You're going to hear a ton about
those trips look cool, man.
Dude, they're if I'm going to go international with somebody, it feels like them. I need you to see the documentary. I don't think I've sent it to you. They did a documentary that is about their trips that, again, it's another expression of running, in my opinion. Like, we've talked about the event and we've talked about running for the sake of running. Their running is like, I don't even know how to explain it. When you watch the documentary, it just feels like there is like this depth to running and in the way that it connects you to people. And like, it just feels really special. And the way that they've done like 150 something trips around the world with people, and the groups range in size from like 8 to 20 people. I'm pumped that they're on board. So they're going to be with us for the race, the Sen. So there's just lots. I mean, these next 2 weeks are going to be absurd.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody has a running spouse. Some of us, have spouses who have no interest in running.
That's right.
At all, right? But yeah, I showed my wife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's the type of running vacation that I could get behind." So
yes,
they're definitely doing something if they are, attracting the attention and interest of runners and then non-runners as well.
Yeah, like one of the things that we'll be out doing at the race, especially, is just to show you like other like connected they are to like this interesting depth, like these sage sticks that they have us. We're going to be passing out these sage sticks and telling the kind of the story of Ira Libre as we interact with all of these runners. And it's an ambitious 2 weeks. And I think on the other side of this, we're going to know a lot. I mean, to cover Paris Fashion Week and Western States in the same breath on the same days, like we're going to be going hard. And I hope that people get it. I hope that we get it even better along the way. Do you have any final thoughts in this episode?
No, man. I mean, yeah, it's building the plane in air. You gave me that analogy, and it's something that makes my stomach kind of do that little butterfly thing, because it's not something I'm used to, but it's been a lot of fun. And I know the listeners and the audience, they're going to come along with it. So just excited. It's not that I want to, it's kind of like the ultra. Like I don't want to get to the finish line, but I know when we look back and see everything that we did, with and for the community, it's going to be just something to be super proud of to participate in. Yeah.
And I'm sure we've talked about this offline before, but I'll just say this on the Outrider Running League could be a failure. The Western States coverage could be a failure. We could have 20 people who watch us. We could have, no one gets the Paris Fashion Week and they choose to unfollow Borderlands forever because they hate this connection. One of the hardest parts of entrepreneurship is looking stupid. If you can get comfortable with looking stupid, then the world opens up to you. And that's probably true in a lot of ways, in a lot of things. And it's not, I mean, in every facet of life, looking stupid is probably is a natural form of correcting you. But in entrepreneurship, when you're throwing stuff out there and you're trying stuff for the first time, it's like, absolutely someone's going to laugh at you. Absolutely someone's going to, and then it turns out your best friends don't even know how to cheer you on. And sometimes you lose best friends because you're going somewhere away in an opposite direction of them. It's wild. So yeah, hop on the plane. Doesn't even have wings yet, but I think we're going to get it in the air and then we're going to put it together.
I mean, at this point, it's no worse than flying on Boeing, so I guess we're okay.
All right. Let's do this again real soon.
All right, buddy.
See you.
Take it easy.